Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of my bullshit. I just want to talk today about something different, and I might have talked about it already before. Which is cool if I have, whatever. Who cares? Everything can be done twice. It's fine. So what I want to talk about today is the weirdest thing, and it's really more about me, I guess, and how I feel, rather than the whole for other people. So I'm not speaking for everyone. I'm just speaking for me personally and how I feel. So I was at the gym today with my dad, and I always go to the gym with my dad. And at the gym, there's this lady who does who helps out with people who exercise and stuff. And I find this lady to be attractive. I'm married, and that's fine. You can still be attracted to somebody when you're married. As long as you don't act on it, I think that's fine. I just think that she's very cute. So today she struck up a conversation with me, and she was telling me about, she came up to me, she asked me about my tattoos and what they meant and why I had them. And I talked to her for a minute, and I told her, and she started to talk to me about Harry Potter, because that's what most of my tattoos are, and what house she's in, and I told her what house I was in, and then she told me that her wife and her dogs and everything, what house they were in, which is pretty cool. However, I never brought up the fact that I had a husband. And I've come across this issue like a lot in my life where like now it's like this thing that I've become afraid of is to mention the fact to anybody, whether they're straight or not straight, that I have a husband. And it's really sad that that's a thing or that that's the case, because I truly should not feel ashamed by the fact that I'm married to a man and like two genders, or multiple genders if that's a thing. Because I feel like the only reason that I'm ashamed of it is because, and I'm not ashamed of it, it's just that I hate the question that is always followed by the fact that I have a husband. And what it is that when I say that I have a husband, people automatically assume that I'm straight. Or I'll get conversations with people like, oh, so now that you're dating, or now that you're married to a man, does that mean you're straight now? I hate that question. I don't understand if it's just pure ignorance that raises that question, or curiosity that raises that question, but it's a rude question, and I hate that question. Here's how this works. So if you get married or you're in a relationship with somebody, do you still find other people attractive? So if you're straight, or I consider it a lesbian to be straight. It's not the same thing, no, but you like one gender. So that's kind of where I'm going with this. People who like one gender, I get a lot from with questions like that. And what they're not understanding is, if you like one gender and you're in a relationship, do you still look at the menu? Do you still find other people attractive? If you're a man and you're dating a girl, do you still go, wow, that chick at the one place was hot? I know you do. With your buddies, you're like, oh my god, that bitch is smoking. And if you're a girl and you're with another girl, do you still check out other girls? Like, you're not dead. You're just with somebody that you like spending time with, that you enjoy spending time with. It doesn't always have to be about attraction or what they look like. You can be dating a 7 and know you're dating a 7 and find a 10 on the street and admit that that's a 10. Like, it's fine. You don't have any, emotional connection to this 10. You have a lot of emotional connection to this 7. And that's really what relationships are about. So no, just because I'm married to a man does not mean that I don't still like women. That makes no sense to me in any way, shape, or form. And if you, dear God, used your fucking common sense for 5 seconds, you would know that. So, anyways, my point is I really just don't like getting into that conversation. So now it's gotten to the point where I just don't feel comfortable telling people. So when people ask me about my marriage or anything, I just don't feel comfortable now telling them, that I'm married to a man. It just makes me feel uncomfortable. To me, I feel like I got the best of both worlds because I am married to a man, but he also has a personality that I find to be a little bit female-ish, which is no thing against him. He's, he's a man. He's gonna hate me for saying that. But, he does have the qualities and traits that I would look for in a female. And so I feel lucky. But I'll never understand, and maybe this just comes from me not knowing, how people who like one gender can only like one gender. And then it got me thinking about why we even discuss these things, why people are transgender, why people pick one gender, have to pick one gender. I don't really know how it works. I don't know if you just are born to like one gender and you feel absolutely disgusted by that other gender, or if it's the way that you were raised and the way that you were treated that made you come to liking one gender. Because in theory, we're all celestial beings, and we all are just this spirit or soul attached to this body that lives and breathes. So none of us really on the inside have genitalia. And a lot of people are clicking off now. They're like, this bitch is retarded. No, but we really are. We're all celestial beings. So we all exist outside of this shell. We all are these beings that just exist, that don't really have an assigned gender, but we're assigned a coochie or a penis when we were given a body. So, in theory, that would mean that we are capable of loving every single type of person. And this is something that I really hate. I really hate this. So, when I was 10, I started to realize that there was this thin line of people who started choosing where things were going. Because before this, we never really discussed boys and girls. It never really was a thing that we cared about. You were doing other stuff, whatever. You weren't really inclined to think about relationships with other people. When I was 10 and my girlfriend started to like guys and my guy friends started to like girls, I kind of felt myself teetering on this spectrum of I didn't understand really how that worked. And I couldn't seem to pick up on where I was on that line. I knew that I was supposed to be on one side of that line, so I went with where I was supposed to go. But deep down, I knew that I also fell on the other side of this line. And I think that I've always known that. And I think that because my dad also thinks that he always knew that. Because I did show signs of it early on that I just didn't understand which line I fell on. And a lot of it, I think, had to do with no one really ever pushing me to be a certain way. My mom was kind of out of the picture a lot of my life. My dad liked girls. My brother liked girls. There were always naked women around me. My dad took me to Hooters when I was younger. I always had a Hooters calendar. And I'm not saying that Hooters made me gay, but that's the title of this. Hooters made me gay. No. But I just kind of always felt like I fell on both sides of these lines. So when I was 13, I told my dad. And my dad understood, and he was like, no shit. He really didn't care. He kind of always knew, so it wasn't really a big deal. But I think that from the moment that we all start to exist, we all are capable of loving everyone. And back to what I was saying, sorry. When I came out at 13, I told my dad first. And I told a couple of friends. And when I started to get older, other people started to come forward. And it wasn't really that they were gay as much as they were curious, I think, because a lot of those girls turned out to not be the same way, which I don't understand at all. That's what I really don't understand, is how you can try it and decide that you don't like it, because that confuses me and my theory. Anyways, so I had come out to a couple people, and someone had mentioned to me oh, you like boys and girls, so you're a bisexual. And in my head, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I didn't really think of it as a label or a box at the time. I just was kind of like, at the time, there were these 3 things that you could be. There was, or 4, you could be transgender, you could be straight, you could be a homosexual, or you could be a bisexual, which meant that you could like both. But then as I got older, people started to correct me on my own label. Like when they would ask me what I was, which I feel like is a rude question because you should never ask anybody what they're attracted to. That's a really fucked up question. But I did have people that were curious or whatever who would ask me, and that's fine if you're curious. But if you're just being an asshole to be an asshole, that's whatever. So I got this a lot growing up, and I even ran into it when I was at work with a girl one time who was bashing people who like the same gender at her press, and I got offended and I said, hey, that's really fucked because you don't know this about me, but I like both genders. What I get a lot is, you're not a bisexual, you're a pansexual. When I first heard that word, I really didn't understand it, and the more I start to think about it, I don't understand it. Because if bisexual is liking both genders and pansexual is liking everybody, aren't they kind of the fucking same thing? Because I don't think that transgender falls out of the realm of gender and non-binary falls out of the realm of no gender. So does that mean that bisexuals don't like transgender and non-binary people? Because I feel like that's not what that means. And pansexuals do? So I came to the conclusion at a young age that I hated labels and I didn't like them, and I felt like I did not deserve them. I felt like I should not be a part of them. And then as I got older, I saw a lot of friends of mine that were girls transition from being female to a male. And I had, well, not a lot, I had 2 male friends who transitioned from being a male to a female. And people are like, you know, when you like the same gender or any association of being gay, you somehow attract other gays. I guess that would be probably the truest thing I do know about that, because it's just as I got older, somehow all the friends that I did have ended up being that way when I grew up. So I guess that kind of makes sense to me. That's the only thing I've proven to be true in my life. I like to say that I'm not like that, but I think that that's somehow how I followed my life, because people are at my age now, people are still doing it, people are still coming out, and I'm like, whoa, what, when? Why didn't you tell me? I came out pretty early, so I've been lonely out here. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, so, you know, I had a lot of friends who have made that transition, and I've seen them go through a lot of things. I've seen them go through a lot of different struggles and triumphs and all these other things, and I am about to have to do Shrek trivia, so I need a minute. Let me check. 1 second. I got 10 minutes till Shrek trivia starts, so I got 10 minutes to finish the video. So my biggest issue with it was that they felt that they had to change, and a lot of them, when I asked them why they wanted to be that way, and I feel like that is a rude question, and I wasn't asking it to be rude, I was asking it more out of curiosity because I never really understood, because to me, I felt like whether you were born with a vagina or a penis, you should be allowed to be and act however the fuck you want. And that came from, you know, I love my grandma so much. She's the light of my life. But she always felt like because I was born with a vagina, I should act a certain way. And I've gotten that from people my whole life. Because I was born with a vagina, I should be more ladylike. I hate the word lady. And I really hate the term ladylike. I feel like that is the problem with our society, is that we say because you were born with a vagina, you have to dress, act, and be a certain way. You have to be this person. You have to put on makeup. You have to go out and get dressed. You have to care about how you look. You have to be dramatic. You have to have a lot of friends. You have to be popular. You have to be pretty. You have to wear dresses. You have to wear stockings. You have to do your nails. You have to inject shit into your face, you know, you have to get your eyebrows done, be manicured, whatever. You have to shave your legs because you're a female and that's what men are attracted to, and you want to attract men. And that is what society has pushed down our throats from the beginning of time, is that because you're a female, you have to attract a certain gender, you have to be a certain way, you have to act a certain way, you have to look a certain way. And men were always treated the same fucking way. We say that men and women are equal, but in the grand scheme of things, we aren't. But we are, because men were also treated and told that they had to attract women. They had to look rough. That they had to look rough. They had to be like this. They had to do these things. They couldn't cook. They couldn't clean. They had to go out. They had to work dirty. They had to do these things. My husband loves to cook. My husband loves to clean. I hate that shit. So I go out. I make money. I roll up the dough. He rolls up the dough too. He makes a lot more money than I do, and that's whatever. But you know, we're very yin and yang. Even though I carry the more traits of, he'll call me a dude sometimes, I carry those traits, and he carries the other traits. It shouldn't mean that because he has those traits, he's more female and I'm more male. That makes no fucking sense. They're just traits that people have. People like to cook. People like to clean. People should be allowed to feel and have those traits. People like the color pink. I know men who like the color pink. I fucking hate that color because I don't understand it. It's not red and it's not white. It's just weird. So I don't like that color. I also am not a huge fan of, sometimes I am, of orange. It's a weird color to me. I don't understand it. I hate brown. I don't like that color. It reminds me of shit. I like green, you know, whatever, that's fine. And I hate yellow. I don't like yellow. I think it's too bright and shiny. I just don't understand it. So, you know, those are colors that I just don't like on, you know, especially on clothes. I hate them on clothes. I've never worn brown. I don't like to wear brown, yellow, or orange. I do have some brown shirts because brown brings out the hazel in my eyes. But other than that, no. So anyways, back to what I was saying, because now it's gotten weird. So I feel like when you're first born, you are able to like both genders or all genders, however you fucking feel. I don't care. And I also feel like you were only born with a penis and a vagina, and whether you were born with a penis or a vagina should not dictate how you feel. And I feel like if society wasn't the way that it was, and I'm sorry if this offends anybody, because I don't understand being transgender, because I'm not. So if this comes off ignorant to some people, you can correct me, that's fine. I'm not going to be hurt by it, and I hope that you're not hurt by this. This is just my personal opinion. I feel like transgender people would not exist if it wasn't for society's boxes of how a gender should be. Because scientifically, a gender is whether you were born with a penis or a vagina. Scientifically. Everything else that surrounds having a penis or a vagina comes from society. It does not come from science. It's from society. Society is ignorant as fuck and believes that everything has to fit in a box because people don't like what they don't understand, which is stupid. That means you don't have empathy. That means you're fucking ignorant. That means that you literally just think that you have to own everybody. Like, you need to understand everything about everybody or you don't feel comfortable in your own life. There's a problem with you, bitch. If you don't feel comfortable because somebody else feels a different type of way than you do, there is a fucking problem with you. You gotta get yourself checked out because you are probably like that person and afraid to admit it. Fuck, bitch, own your shit. I'm so tired of it. Anyways, back to what I was saying. So, if that offends anybody, I'm sorry. But I feel like that's the case. If there was no societal boxes or descriptions of how a gender should be, transgender people probably would not exist because they wouldn't feel the need to transition to another gender to fit those stereotypes that they want to be. They should just be allowed to be those types without having to be that way. And that's why I'm so glad that non-binary is existing, because it's stating, hey, yeah, I have a vagina. But because I have a vagina does not mean that I am this certain thing. But non-binary would not exist either, I don't feel like, if it wasn't for the boxes that we have. We have to put everything in this neat little box. And if it doesn't fit in the box, we get upset. And then other people feel like, fuck you, I don't want to be in that box, so let me create my own box. Why do we have boxes? It doesn't make sense. You are born with a vagina, you have a vagina. Scientifically, you are female. If you want to wear baggy clothes, if you want to have short hair, if you want to talk lower, if you want to do whatever, you should be allowed to do that. If you want a different name, if you want a masculine name, which is stupid, masculine and feminine are the biggest problems with this world. If you want to change your name to fucking Jake, you should be allowed to do that shit. You are a celestial being. Your fucking name shouldn't matter. It's stupid. So, anyways, I hope my point got across in this video. I hope that made sense to everybody. Because I feel like it's sad that I have to explain that every time that I tell somebody that I'm married to a man. I feel like it's stupid that I have to explain that yes, I'm still into girls because I like men, and yes, I'm still into everybody else because I like men and women. I do also like transgender people because to me, it's not really about what you got, because to be honest, a penis really can't get you off. It's not hitting your G-spot perfectly. And a vagina is also not getting you off. So to me, to pick one of those things depending on a disgusting genitalia that exists beneath your belly button and between your legs is stupid. And you should really just like people based on what's inside their heads, because that makes more sense to me. If you genuinely enjoy being around a person and you genuinely enjoy like touching them and kissing them and just being around them and with them romantically, then that's who you should be with. It shouldn't be because, oh, you've dated women your whole life and you're supposed to date women. That's not how it should be. It should be however the fuck you feel about somebody. If you feel a type of way about somebody, you should be with that person. Don't let society control your fucking life. Live your fucking life. Don't let boxes control your life. Live your fucking life. Anyways, I hope that made sense, and I hope that people see or start to understand that now that they've heard this description. Hopefully people agree with me, maybe? I don't know. If you do agree with me, please let me know. I would love to have someone to talk with sometimes, because nobody agrees with me ever. But anyways, I love all of you guys, and I hope everyone is cool after this video, and I hope you guys all have a great night.